So let's see. 99% of all cases filed with the United States Supreme Farce get put in a dumpster. 99% of the American people that spend the money and fight the fight to go to the Supreme Court of the United States get their cases just ignored. They deny them. They throw them in the trash. 99%. Now, I don't know about you, but this whole dog and pony show over Brett Kavanaugh being confirmed to a supreme joke of a supreme farce where 99% of all cases get thrown in the dumpster, it's mind-bending. Can you imagine an ambulance service that ignored 99% of people that needed to get to the hospital? How about an automobile dealership that refused to wait on 99% of their customers? Or, I don't know, let's go to the restaurants. How about 99% of all patrons that visit a restaurant never get a table? Now I got a message for the American people. This Supreme Court baloney is the biggest scam job that's ever been played out on the American public, except maybe for the fiat scrip, the legal tender of the shin plaster, the fake money, the phony baloney money. And if you think that I'm missing the mark on that, look up what David Stockman, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, thinks. And then, I don't know, get a hold of my good old friend Kevin Brady. I knew Kevin Brady before he was on the school board in Conroe. And then you could go way back and get a hold of Gerald Solomon. He was the director of the, or not the director, he was the chairman of the Congressional Ways and Means Committee. Just like Kevin Brady, the chairman of the Congressional Ways and Means Committee. Gerald Solomon first got elected because my dad and I sponsored a big corn roast for him at our marina on Lake George, New York. Gerald Solomon. Now, folks, let's get back to the focus of this video. 99% of all cases that ever get filed in the Supreme Court of the United States are essentially ignored. How they pick the one lousy percent that do get dealt with is a total mystery. They won't explain themselves. But the point is, 99% of the American people simply get stiffed at the Supreme Court, but we're talking about a 30-year-old case of what likely was an abuse by Brett Kavanaugh of a 15-year-old girl at a party. I'm not saying I believe her. I'm just saying that it wouldn't surprise me. Because the entire federal judiciary, the district judges, the appellate judges, the Senate and Congressional Judiciary Committees, and the members of the Supreme Court themselves, 99% of all cases that go up to the Supreme Court of the United States get put in the dumpster. Now, I don't think there's a business in the world that can stay in business for more than about a minute, ignoring 99% of all of its customers. And to wrap this one up, I had some lame brain motorcycle goofball, used to be a Los Angeles narcotics detective, apparently worked for the LAPD, and he started attacking me, telling me that I don't understand what it is that I'm talking about. Well, I got news for Mr. Idiot. I got more background and understanding the constitutional law than 10 of most people. You got 5 people, a majority, 5 people, of the Supreme Court of the United States dictating to over 325 million people what it is that their liberty and freedom and justice and equal protection under the law amounts to. 5 lousy people dictating to over 325 million. Now what's wrong with that picture, folks? And then you've got this entire governmental system that's been robbed beyond belief, running multiple trillions in deficits, running this country square into the ground financially with quantitative easing bucks, quantitative easing reserve notes, all that money they print right out of the thin air and type it up on keyboards. So to that freaking moron that says I don't understand and I'm making a fool out of myself by saying something about this, why don't you hop on your dumbass Harley Davidson and jam it right up your butt? I don't understand what I'm talking about, Chief. I got news for you. Dan Sadler, you need to get some different friends. That guy was a freaking, I don't know, some kind of an idiot. 90, prove me wrong. Let's see some numbers out of you numbskulls. You Trump bot idiots. You freaking fools that are being led around by the freaking nose by the corporate news media. How many cases do get heard and how many cases do go in the dumpster? Wake the hell up, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what more to say, but you better get into your constitutions a little bit. You better start understanding your constitutions a little bit and get rid of them stupid, ridiculous pocket versions of the Constitution and get you a real set of constitutional law. I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen, how dumb can you be? 99% of all cases go to the dumpster. And we're talking about a 30-year-old drunken Kavanaugh pawing all over and abusing a 15-year-old girl. What kind of freaking dog and pony act is this congressional committee? And I'm saying Feinstein and Grassley and the whole stinking pile of them, and especially you, Donald Trump, Mr. Swamp Drainer. You want to drain the swamp, do you, Donald Trump? Well, let's start talking about the real crime spree in this country. Let's start answering to the world where the trillions of dollars are disappearing too. You want to talk about how you rig elections? Let's talk about Clintonista, Bill and Hillary Clinton style real estate scheming and scamming. And let's talk about George H. and George W. Bush and Jebby and that other Neil and Uncle Marvin Bush and the Wilmington Trust and all their funny little weird real estate scheming and scamming schemes. They're swindling. Trillions, hundreds of billions are going up in smoke, and all these crooked freaking thieves are financing the most powerful political campaigns in the history of the nation. But yeah, let's get distracted with this freaking dog and pony crap, and let's get distracted with that dog and pony crap, and let's never address the massive robbery of the American financial system with dirt dealing and dirt flipping and dirt churning and all these freaking Bill and Hillary Clinton style land schemes and land scams. Foreclosures, predatory lending, and every imaginable black magic trick in the book to rob the financial system. That's what's rigging elections, Donald Trump. There's your damn swamp. And folks, I know this one's been kind of harsh, and I've been just a little bit angry about it, but when in the hell are we going to start talking about stuff that's actually germane, material, and relevant? Yeah, germane, material, and relevant. That's for that freaking idiot former LA narcotics detective, friend of Dan Sadler. I got news for you, Chief. Take your Harley Davidson and jam it right up your butt. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm leaving it right there. And as always, hasta la vista, God bless, and you betcha we're coming back.